There's a number of questions I'd like to ask you about UFOs, so could we concentrate this interview on UFOs?
Sure.
To give us some of your background, will you give us an overview of your experiences starting with the college level?
I have a BA, a liberal arts, from Gordon College. Prior to that, I served with the United States Air Force Security Service, where we did espionage work, electronic eavesdropping on our friends, the Russians. At that time, I held a top secret clearance and a crypto clearance. From the Air Force and college days, I went to GTE Sylvania and worked for them for 25 years in the Strategic Systems Division and the Communication Systems Division on a number of weapon systems, usually on contract to the United States Air Force.
You mentioned that to me previously that the ships that are sighted aren't even built for flying in our atmosphere.
They don't really fly, Bill. They operate just like diving bells. They come in, they wobble almost as if they're weightless. They do their thing. They usually don't go from A to B over a long distance. They're very localized. When they're through doing what they're doing, they sort of tilt up and they're drawn almost straight up like they're attached to a string or something. They just go right up. So they really don't fly. And when they do move, they don't create a sonic boom. They're able to take right-angle turns. But it's almost as if they're being directed by something above them, by some kind of invisible energy. They seem to have infinite mass to throw away, but don't seem to have any mass themselves. When they stop and hover, they sort of waft and wobble almost like a boat on an ocean of water, but they seem to be on an ocean of turbulent air. When they move, they go up and down like this, almost like a boat would in the water. So whatever they are, they seem to be able to almost become lighter than air and operate, and not as aircraft operate, but in a different way altogether.
Right. When they take that 90-degree angle that they've been seen taking, do they wobble at that time?
No, they usually wobble just before changing direction after hovering. The 90-degree angle seems to be a 90-degree turn without a curve radius at all, which seems to be almost impossible when we think of our own aircraft and we think of our own physical makeup. What would happen to us if we did something like that?
And they travel at a tremendous speed, don't they?
They've been clocked. We've talked to radar operatives who've clocked UFOs along the East Coast here. We had an alert back in the 60s, I believe it was, tracked at 18,000 miles per hour. That's orbital speed, and that's within the near envelope of the Earth, without burning up, without a sonic boom, and able to take right-angle turns at this speed.
Well, I can remember when I was in the service in the 728th Aircraft Control and Warning Squadron, and our radar tracked an unidentified object going across the sky at that speed.
At 18,000 miles per hour, yeah.
So when we had heard reports on it, we put the two together and we said it had to be something. We never did find out really what it was. They didn't scramble fast enough to get it.
In the 1950s, a Commander McLaughlin, a Navy commander who was in charge of V2 experiments down in White Sands, New Mexico, they were using a theodolite, which essentially is a telescope that also gives you readings of altitude and azimuth, and they were tracking a V2 and a WAC Corporal, I think, attached to it, when they saw something else, and they managed to get the theodolites on this object, and it was about 56 miles up and going about 7 miles per second. And they actually got photographs of it, which have never been released. But that was a terrific speed for that time. It was certainly nothing that we had. It was egg-shaped, and they could actually see it through the theodolite as they tracked it.
That's something.